So I had created first this one, a sequence of numbers like 2 into pi was there. Okay. So this first parameter is from where you want to start the number, and the second parameter is till where you want, and the third parameter what will be your step size. So let's say between every number the step size is 1. So this I created first. Then after that I try to show you the x value. So x value we got this one, and then y I calculated by using sine of x. Y I calculated like this. Okay. Then I got the two variables like this, and I just plotted between x and y. In real scenario, x can be any other parameter. Like let's say x can be the number of or the x can be the area of particular place, and then y can be the flat prices over there or bungalow prices over there. Or x can be any linear parameter, y can be other parameter, where we want to find out the graph between those two. We want to see just the graph. So y I calculated just the simple numerical calculation of x in terms of sine, and then there is a plot function. With the help of plot function, you are able to plot between two variables, let's say x and y. Okay, and if you simply do this one, you will see this kind of graph. By default, you will get uh, a circle. Data points as a circle. Okay, if you can see over here, I'll just zoom it. So this is in a circular shape. Okay, this is in a circular shape. When we will go in the visualization part, there we will see there are lots of parameters are involved, and we can change. Somebody is asking for request. This. Okay. So there are a number of parameters which will be dealing. Full entire one day session is there on that one. So don't worry about that. Again, we'll be coming across all these. So with the help of plot, you will be able to plot it. Now let's say suppose there is one more type variable type parameter in which you can mention the type of the graph. Let's say if I'll mention L, L represents for linear graph. So for example, the line will be drawn over here. So if I plot this one, we'll see the line over there. One more type I have shown, that is by plotting with H. So H will show you the histogram. H will show you the histogram over there. Okay, so whether it's clear to you?
So in this, one is the length of both the parameters needs to be same, right?
Yes, yes, yes. But
Yes,
length of
because
both the parameter needs to be same.
the
Yes,
same because they are
that
not
is
same. The
that is
plot
the
function,
requirement. That is the requirement. Yeah,
correct. And sir,
yeah.
how many types of graph you can draw in this?
There are multiple types of graphs you can draw. Okay, many different types of graph. If you want to see all those things, you can just go in the help and you can search for plot function.
Okay, okay,
Okay, and you will
okay.
see the all the varieties, even those histogram, line, hollow circle, filled circle with a faded line and all dashed line. Okay, many different types of things you will be able to see. I'll show you when I'll go to the visualization part. Okay,
Okay.
all those things.
And so another
Yeah.
question,
Yes,
these
yes.
graphs are only in black and white. They are not shown in the color format.
Yes, it's there. It's there
It's
in the
there.
color
Okay.
also. Yeah.
It's there in the color also. Okay.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay. So
Thank
I
you.
just request that all of you that I mean from your side, if you want to explore, you can explore. But once I'll go to the visualization, till then just have the patience, right? In the visualization, we'll be doing all those steps. Okay. Yeah. So let's move ahead now. Okay. Let's start with something called as utility commands. Utility commands. We'll see first utility commands. What are different utility commands are there in this? Uh, so let's say, okay. So there is a this kind of sign like hash, okay, hash sign. So if you put this particular sign, let's say before this, so this will become like a comment. Okay, this will become like a comment. For example, if I try to execute this one, it will have no effect. So here the compiler will going to ignore this particular thing, right? It will not going to treat as a some code or command, because what I have done, I have commented it. So the comment things are for the description purpose, right? Why comments are used? There are two major reasons why comments we are used in the programming languages. First thing is, let's say suppose I am writing any program and the program is very big, right? Today I am working on some project, and what will happen, so after let's say 1 week or 2 week or after 1 month, I've written that code 1000 lines of code, and after 1 month, if again I'll come back to the same project, I will take time to understand entire my code, why I had written those sorts of code. So comments we write so that we can describe each and every line, and we can write something about the code, so that in the future whenever we will open the same file, we can understand that what we had written and for what logic purpose, okay, we had written those sort of codes. That is the one reason. And second reason is very specific, like suppose today I have created any project, and tomorrow I got shifted to some other project, right? And some other new guy will join to that particular project which I had written the code. But for the new guy, he won't be able to understand our logic. He won't be able to, it will take a lot of time if comments are not there. If no explanation is there, then it will take a lot of time. So for others, so that they can refer it quickly and they can understand for what purpose we have written those lines of code. And second thing for us also, whenever in the future we will come back to our project, we should understand it quickly. So for that reason, the comments are very, very important. And you should always describe whatever things you are writing. You should describe it, for what purpose you are writing, for what purpose, which variables you are creating, so that for understandability, it becomes very easy. So for that purpose, comments are there. In our language, the comments are written with the hash sign. So if you put hash sign before that, that means it's a comment. Okay, so uh, in every program, you can write the comment like that with the hash sign. Now we'll be doing the utility command. So for the utility command, let's say there is a first command, and it's very important. See, now most of you might be working on the cloud, and a few may be working on the software. So what we need to do before starting any project or anything, right? Suppose even we are writing doing the practice code. So everything should be maintained in a proper folder. Okay, everything should be maintained in a proper folder. So now if you just type get wd, there is one function get-wd, and enter, it will give you the current working directory, where you are working. So if I enter this, for me it's showing this, yeah. For me it's showing C colon users, because I'm working on the software. So C colon users Om Prakash documents. So I'm under this particular directory. So this command will give you the current working directory. So those people who are working on the cloud, I'll just go to the cloud. I think RStudio Cloud is there. So for you, it will show you only one folder, that is a project folder, because by default, this cloud gives us that folder only. My cloud is starting, just wait. So now it's your choice where you want to work, whether you want to work on the cloud or you want to work on the software, right? So it's up to you, but you should know both the ways. So if you see over here, by default it gives in cloud there is one project folder. So this is whatever we'll be doing inside this project folder. So if we will fire get wd in this, so it will show you this particular path. Okay, cloud/project. So by default, it will give us this project folder. Yes, of course, you can create a new folder inside this project folder, and you can do your stuff, whatever you want, you can do inside your project folder. But get working directory, this get WT stand for get working directory. It will give you the current working directory where you are working. Okay, that is one thing. So this gives us current working directory. Similar to this one, there is one function set WD. Okay, set WD. So by using this function, we can set the working directory. So what I wanted to tell you that, see, for example, suppose I want to perform the practice, I want to do the practice, and I want to put all the codes in one particular folder. Let's say in a practice folder. So I'll create one folder as a practice. Let's say, suppose I'm there on the desktop. On the desktop, you can create one folder, let's say over here, practice folder. Okay, so I'm creating one practice folder. This is my practice folder. Now I should know the path of this particular folder because I'll have to mention in the set WD function. So I can right click on this one. Anyway, it's there in the desktop. Okay, so you can just find out the path of that one from the C drive, or you can just right click on this one and you can go to the properties. It will show you the path. You can copy that particular path first. See, this particular path is there. Okay, you can copy like this, or you can just double click on this particular folder. You can go in that folder. Just double click on that. You will go in that particular folder. And if you click over here, right, so it will show you the path. You can copy this. So whatever stuff, for example, you'll be doing the feature, you can do inside this particular folder. So only thing what we require is we need to set that this particular directory as the working directory in our RStudio over here. So now I want to set that this is my function set WD. I'll just copy paste that particular path which just now I have copied, right? And this you should mention in double quotes. So double quotes. And second thing, this direction of this slash you need to change towards this direction. Okay, it was initially towards the left, now you make it towards the right direction. Change this. Okay, after doing this, just control enter. So we have set the working directory. Now if we will fire get WD, so we will get that particular directory. So now our current working directory is set as what? Initially it was this one, right? Now I set to this particular directory. So if you see, once I fire get WD, I got this particular directory. Now whatever stuff I'll be doing, that will go inside this particular directory. So whether this thing is clear, this is very, very important. First of all, you should always create one folder, and whatever stuff you want to do, you can do in that particular folder, right? Or if you're creating any project folder, you can create that folder, and then you set your directories as a current, that particular directory as the current directory. So that whatever stuff you'll be doing, the related stuff will go inside that particular folder. If you go to this quadrant, the last quadrant, that is files and plot, right? If you click on these files, now at present in this folder nothing is there. So if something is there in your folder, because mine folder is blank, okay, this practice folder is blank now. So if anything is there in that particular folder, it will be visible over here. Okay, now it's not showing from there. What you can do, the working directory is set to that one. What you can do, there is one more way. If you see here, in the right side in the corner, 3 dots are there. Okay, these 3 dots, if you can see this hand finger, if you just click on that, So this dialog will appear. From here, you can select the folder which you want to set as what working directory. So I'll go to desktop and I'll select that practice folder, this one. I'll open it. So if you see here, it's directly got opened. Now, till now it has not set. So we can first, in the first step, we can select that folder, and then what we have to do, just click on this gear icon on more. Okay, click on this more and click on this one, set as working directory. Set as working directory. So the command will be automatically fired and this particular folder will be set as what? Working directory. Okay, all of you understood how to set the working directory? All of you create one folder, okay, or whatever contents you were doing, right, put inside one folder and set that directory as the current working directory, all of you.
The folder to be created on the desktop.
Anywhere you want, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
So in our,
Just you need to have the path of that one, that's it. Okay, so that you can set it. And how to set you can use both the approaches. I mean, this one is more easier. You can just click on this three dots over there, select that particular folder, go to that folder, select that one, open it, and then click on this more. After clicking on this more, there is an option set as a working directory, and you can set it from here. So it's like whatever things we'll be doing, it will be there in that particular folder.
first, go to new.
Just click.
New folder.
Just click on these three dots and select any particular folder which you want to set. So for example,
We have to write the path here.
Yes, select that particular folder from this.
Now, how to select that folder?
Just click on three dots over here. See my mouse?
Yes, you will get the path to folder.
No, click on that one. This dialog will appear, right? This window will appear. And then you can go to that particular folder from here.
That window I'm not getting.
In cloud, it's not showing. It's showing cloud.
Yes. In cloud, it's not showing.
Achha, those who are there on the cloud, right? If
right.
you are there on the cloud,
Yes.
by default for cloud, there is only one folder is given to you, that is project. Okay.
Right. That's what.
Yeah. Yes. So if this is that was I was telling for the people who are doing on the local software.
Okay.
If you install the software, but if you're there on the cloud inside the project, by default you will be there inside the project only. So whatever stuff you'll be doing, that will be stored in this project folder only.
Yes.
But if you created any other folder, and if you want to say, for example, inside project also you can create the folder. See, there is an option, the new folder, there is an option. If you click over there, let's say I'm saying test, a test folder is created, right? So you can go inside test folder. Now you would like to set this particular folder as the current working directory, then you can set that particular folder as the current working directory by using the command over here. Okay. So that thing you can do. But if you're not doing anywhere, that will be there in one particular folder only. But on the local machine, there are lots of folder here and there. If you want to set it with one particular directory, you can always set in that way. Okay.
Yes.
Now after that, so remember these two commands or function, that is one is get WD and second is set WD. Set WD for setting the working directory, get WD for getting the current working directory. Then there is one more function. If you just simplify dir, it will give you the contents of your current working directory. Contents of your current working directory. Now currently there is nothing in my current working directory, so I can set my current working directory something else, so that it will show some files or folders inside that particular directory. If I'll do this, set as the working directory, and if I fire dir, so these are the contents which are there in that particular folder. So it will show you all the contents which are there in that particular directory, current working directory. So by dir command, you can see the different contents available inside your files and folders which are available inside your current working directory. Okay, so it's basically used for listing contents current working directory. Okay. Then similarly, there is one more function that is
One question with this directory command, how to differentiate which one is file and which one is the directory within that directory?
so it's like it will show us the content, and by looking at the folder directly, we can directly see that whether it's a files or folder, right? For example, if you see here, the .txt .rs are files, right? These images and day5 and this code, all these are the folders.
Okay, but we can create the file also without any extension.
Yeah, so if that thing is there, then I mean, with this particular command, we cannot differentiate. Okay, it will just show you the content.
Okay, okay.
Yeah.
Okay, sir.
Professor Om Prakash,
Yes.
see how many hash we have to put for the commenting?
Only one hash is enough. That's it. Only single. I'm just making a design. That's it. Nothing else.
Okay, okay. And
Okay.
next thing, can you please repeat this? How to get into the directory? It was little faster.
Acha.
Can you make
Oh, okay,
yeah.
okay, no problem. Just see over here. See, so let's say why I was explaining, so that we can make any particular folder as the current working directory, and whatever stuff we are doing, that we can store it at some one particular place. So if you see here my mouse in the fourth quadrant over here, files and plot window, here 3 dots are there. You can click on that one.
Okay.
So if you once you click, one window will appear. So from this particular window, you can go to the folder which you created and where you want to store the things, right? So you can select any particular folder. You can go to any drive like C drive, D drive, wherever you have created the folder. You can select that particular folder and you can open it. So once you will open it, then after that, you can click on this more, and there is an option set as working directory. You can click on that. It will set that directory as the current working directory.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, that's it. Only these 2 steps are required.
No, I just want to see whatever directory we created. No, on the desktop. I want to bring that here. Can you demonstrate how to do that? Because do I need to copy that URL, or it will happen automatically here?
No, let's say suppose my practice folder is there on the desktop, right? I'll go over there. So it's there on the desktop. This is my practice folder. I clicked on that.
Okay.
Now I have opened it, right? Now it got opened. Now nothing is there inside that particular folder. And now what I'll do, I'll click on this more, and I'm saying set as working directory. That's it. So now my practice folder is set as the working directory. Okay.
Where it has appeared now? And like earlier, it appeared onto the display screen, no?
No, but there is nothing is there. Let's say, for example, suppose I'll put anything, something.
You'll put something in that, yeah. In the working directory, you put some image or something.
Okay, let's say this text file is there, right? New text file. See here, text file has come. Okay. Clear?
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah.
It will appear here.
Yes. Because the same folder we have opened, right? So whatever contents are there in that, if you see this particular path, see users Om Prakash desktop practice. So that folder we have opened over here. So all the contents of this particular folder will be shown over here. Clear?
Okay. Just to refresh, this one is for the working window, coding window. On the left side for left.
This is your window, coding window. Yeah, this one.
Okay. And second one is the files and folders.
This one is your environment and history window. The third one, this one is files and plot window. Okay. And the last one is your console or terminal or the command window.
All right. Okay.
Okay.
Thank you.
Okay. So,
Sir,
yes.
sir, while using the setwd command, I'm getting an error. It says used without hex digits in character string starting.
So, can you share your screen so that we can view? I mean, what error you are getting?
Okay, yes.
Yeah.
But for that, you have to close your.
Okay,
screen,
I'll
I think.
close. Yeah.
1 second. I'm getting this error used without hex digits in
Just
character
1
string.
minute. I'm not able to see this one. Oh, your fonts are too small for me.
How do I increase it?
Yeah, there is an option. What error you are getting?
Uh,
No, I cannot view it.
it says used without hex
Can
digits in character.
can you paste what command you have written? Can you paste in the chat
Yes,
box?
yes.
No,
I'll
sir,
do
I
it.
got
There
a
is a
message
look like
that
it look
forward,
like you have a double
forward
quotes.
slash is required.
डबल
Backslash is
कोट्स दो
there.
बार आया है
नहीं, but यहाँ पर मैंने
Backslash, backslash.
so
You have to put.
backslash है, this forward
हाँ.
slash, it needs to convert to backslash.
like it's showing the error again.
आप कोड यहाँ पे पेस्ट करो तो समझ में आएगा, बिकॉज मुझे तो दिख नहीं रहा कोड.
Make it forward slash, no, buddy.
Oh, okay.
स्लैश चेंज किया ना आपने, क्या नहीं किया?
Like ये वाला आएगा क्या?
यस यस राइट साइड में लीन करो पूरा.
Yes, I'll stop it.
ओके.
Okay, fine.
आया?
हम्म.
ओके ओके. Okay, my screen is visible.
Yes, sir.
Yes, yes.
Let's go ahead. So there is one more function like ls function. So if you fire this one, it will going to give you all the variables or whatever stuff temporarily which you created, right, during your practice or whenever you have written the program. So that will be shown. So all the things which are there in the history, that will be shown to you. Just 1 minute.
आपको स्क्रीन नहीं दिख रहा है? तुम कॉपी करो. Light off.
Okay, so if you see here, whatever the variables and everything are there in the environment, this thing environment tab, environment, that will be shown over here. So with the ls command, you can see the contents of your environment window. Okay, for example, a variable I might have created, add variable I might have created, all those variables are visible over here with the help of ls function. Right. So ls function gives the names of the objects in your R environment window. So I'll just write the comment. Names of the objects which are present in the R environment window. Okay. Now, suppose I want to delete something from there, from that particular R window. Let's say this A is there. So I can write, or let me create a new, let's say I'm saying X. 10. So X I've created just now, and inside that I put 10 values. If I want to see how I'm executing, control enter. Okay, control enter. So when my cursor is over here, I can press control enter to execute that particular line. So here I'm saying control enter, that X variable is created. Now again control enter to see the content of this X variable. So 10 is shown over here. Now X is there. What I can do, I can say RM. RM stand for remove, and let's remove this X from here. So I'm saying RM X, control enter to execute this. Now RM is RM will going to remove this X from here. Now if I want to see X value, so it will give me error that object X not found. Why X is not found? Because we have just now removed that X from the environment variable. Now again, let's create this. Let's say X5 and Y15. So if we want to see X, Y value is there. I can say also like this, RM X comma Y. So it will going to remove both the variables from the environment window. So here collectively I have removed X and Y. Now if I want to see the value of X, it will say object X not found. Similarly, if I want to see the value of Y, it will say object Y not found. So both the variables are not there in this particular list because just now we have removed with the help of RM command. Okay.
Sir, if I rewrite X is equal to 10, it will overwrite the value 5?
After removing it, you are asking me?
No,
After,
no.
no. Yes,
Before
yes, yes. Yes,
okay.
before, yeah, definitely. It will overwrite on that one.
Okay.
Okay. Okay. Now, suppose I write like this, help dot search. Oh, somebody asking for joining. Okay. Help dot search, and let's say in this I want to get the information regarding mean. So I can write in this way. I can execute this, and this will going to open the help for this mean. Anyway, if you want to if you want to get the help regarding anything, you can always click on this help, and from there also you can go and you can find out the help, right? So from this also you can go to the help section. So for example, from here you can search in the topics like over here, or here also you can search, and then it will show you the content. So it's like it will show you the documentation, or whatever things, whatever function we are trying. If it's there in the documentation, it will show you. And once you will start reading one particular part, it will show you the multiple things related to that one. So that is also a good idea. For example, if you are reading about the mean function, or let's say RM function or plot function, so alongside that one, it will show you the multiple information with other function also. And this is how we can go along with that one and we can read it.
Professor, can you please repeat, like how did you get the search results on the third window? Just help search mean. After that, what you did?
Okay. So let's say, suppose I'm here, I am searching plot. Now see, this help.search ka result has opened. Okay. Let me explain this one. So help the search, I wrote over there mean. So now it has wherever it will find the mean word, it will show you all the contents related to that. Okay. Wherever it will find mean, everything it will show you. Now it's up to you. You have to see from here, and then you have to go to that particular section properly. Okay. From here also. Yes, yes. Yeah, go ahead.
No, you can go on to the third corner. That search icon is there. You press on that, you can put it there in that mean.
Yes, I'm
From
putting there. I'm
Okay,
putting
wait.
there.
Okay, I have to go ahead. Yeah.
Okay.
Ah.
So I put over there mean, and I got this particular search. Okay, this mean function. Clear? And if you see here with the mean function, it will show you also the uses of that particular mean function, like it's showing me x comma t. Then few parameters are over there, but right now you won't be able to understand. But once we will progress ahead, and after finishing this, everything you'll be able to understand how to read all those things, and I'll be explaining you also. So, and it will show you the uses. For example, if you see one variable is created, and then how to calculate the mean of that particular variable, it has given one nice example. So it's like we can see in the documentation, it will give you the example also in which we can use it. Okay.
Thank you so much. I
Yeah.
got it.
Yeah. So with the help of this help search also, you can find the content. Similarly, let's say if we write data and control enter, just data function and control enter. So a list of things will be shown to you. Like if you see over here, data sets in package data set. So all these are inbuilt data sets which are there with this particular ID will be shown to you for this R language, right? Which you can use for your projects or for the practice purpose. You don't have to search any particular data set here and there. You can directly see what inbuilt data sets are available, and you can work with your practice session, right? So, and you can also verify your results. For example, see one data set is there, air passengers, VJ cells, then BOD is there, CO2 is there, chick weight is there, then few like plant growth is there, then Titanic database is there, tooth growth is there. These are widely used. Air quality we will also will going to use these. Similarly, somewhere iris data set will be there. See, this iris data set is there, okay, which definitely will going to use it in the statistics. So like this, there are so many data sets. These are the inbuilt data sets, and once we'll fire this data command, all the inbuilt data set which are available, it will be able to show you. Okay, what you have to fire? You have to fire this data function. It will show you list of yeah. So it will going to list all the data set examples which are there inbuilt. Okay. So inbuilt data set example it will show you. Now let's say suppose in this particular data set there is a okay, now it came. Yeah. Now let's say suppose, let me show you. Iris data set. Okay, iris data set. So let's see the content of that particular data set, what is there inside that. So how we can see that. So there is one view function, V is capital. This V is capital. So view iris. So if you check this, it will show you the content of that particular data set. And if you see here, there are 5 different columns are present, like sepal.length, sepal.width, petal.length, petal.width, and species. So this is the data set of different one flower, that is iris flower. And the last column you can see, this is a categorical column where you can see what different types of species data set is available. So there is one Setosa, then one more will be there, like versicolor is there, and one more virginica will be there. Yeah, so virginica is there. So there are 3 different classes of the flowers are there, and the data of all those flowers are included over here, right? And these are their sepal length, sepal width, petal length, and petal width. So if you want to do certain analysis based on this particular data set, this data set is available to you, right? You can fire different commands, different statistics things, and you can see what results you are getting. So we don't have to go somewhere and We don't have to download the data set and then work on that one. Many data sets are already inbuilt in that one, and you can just fire the commands. You can see the content. Similarly, there is a let's.
One sec, sorry for interruption.
Yeah.
You are saying fire or file the command? Do you
File
need to
command I have not.
No. I'm not able to understand the pronunciation. Is it to fire the command or to file the command?
Fire the command.
FIRE, right?
Yeah. Fire means to execute the command. Yeah.
Okay,
To
okay.
execute the
I'm
command.
sorry, I'm not from the programming language.
No. It's okay. No problem. Fire
And
means I'm saying to execute the command. Okay.
Understands.
Yeah.
Next thing is, could you please tell me the iris, as I understand, it is for the pupil. Now iris, you are referring to the flower. What is it like?
So iris is one flower, and
Okay,
yeah.
understood. And
Okay.
iris is a flower. Okay.
Yeah. So,
And I was thinking iris stands for that pupil.
okay, our eyes iris you are talking about that one.
Yeah. Sorry.
Yeah. Okay, no issue. So this iris is one kind of flower, and of that one, 3 species are there, like versicolor, virginica, and setosa. Of those 3 families, this data is being collected. Okay. So their sepal length, their sepal width, and petal length and petal widths are collected, and one data set is made. So similarly, if you see here, let me show you. Let's say.
Sir, one query. It is
Yeah.
case sensitive, right?
Case sensitive. Yeah.
Yeah, because view, when I just typed view in all the small caps, I think V is capital over there.
Yes. V is capital. Otherwise, it will not be going to work. Okay. Yeah. So let's see the content of this particular data set, air quality. So I'm over here. I want to see the content of that one. If you simply put air quality also like this, okay, and if you want to see, so it will be shown over here on the prompt, on the console, it will be shown. So all the data will come over here.
One question.
Yes.
How to know how many data rows are there in the data set?
Yeah, I'll cover. I'll take all those things. Okay. Now I'm just explaining the basic things. We will go over there. Okay. Everything will cover. Okay. Once we'll go ahead with the data set and on, then there I will teach you each and everything. Just wait for some time. Yeah. Okay. So if I simply suppose I'm writing in this way, iris, and I'm control and enter, I'm entering, so I can see the content like this also. But let's view it by view function, and here I'm writing air quality, so you can see in a proper format. So if you see here, the data is there, like ozone, then solar radiation, then wind, and then temperature, then month and day. So according to the different months, like 5th month, 6th month, 7th month, and so its data is being recorded, like what is the ozone level, the solar radiation is, how much wind was there, what was the temperature, right, and on which particular day, like 1 to 30, 31, right, all the data is being recorded. So if you want to do the analysis, like what is the relationship between ozone radiation or ozone and the solar radiation, and what is the relation with wind and temperature, if temperature is reduced or increased, what will going to happen, if wind is high or low, then what happens, right? So all these sorts of analysis you can do. We don't have to go anywhere. I mean, data set is available. You can simply execute your commands on this particular data set, and you'll be able to get the result. So like this,
one small interruption. So can I do this on RStudio, or you are doing it on the download software? This view function.
yes.
One is that you type the view function, and into bracket you put the iris, right? Now, from where did you get this air quality?
It's there on the RStudio.
Okay. All right.
Okay. So yes.
Thank you. I got it.
Okay. So if you fire this data function, right, you say control enter, and whatever things you will be observing over there, all these are inbuilt in this one. Okay, it will be there. If if you want something else which is not there, then you will have to see in which particular package it's there, and you will have to install that particular package first, and then you will be able to see. Okay. So if you want to utilize which are there inbuilt, which are already available, of course you can see from here, and you can take that particular data and you can work around with those data. Okay, let's go ahead. So now there is one function that's library. If I add this or execute this one, library, so it will show you the library, okay, the library which are there inside your RStudio, all the libraries which are there. So many times when we want certain facilities, okay, certain things which we need in our program, if it's not there, then we have to install that particular package in which that library will be included. So like this, if you see here, the many libraries are there, and let's say suppose we want certain functionality and that library is not there. So what we can do, we can install that particular package first, and then after installing that particular package you will observe. So for example, I will do what, I will just say like this, library plier. Okay, all of you just say like this, library plier. So I want to basically have the functionalities which are available in this plier package. Okay, I want to use in our program. And if this library is already there, then this particular plier library will be loaded in our this current program. If it's not there, then it will give us the error. So for you, most of you, for me, it will load. See here, for me it's loaded, but for most of you, it might be giving error that this is not there. Yes, all of you can see that.
Yes, yes.
It's showing error.
Yeah, it says there's no package.
No package for player.
Yes. So whenever, yeah. So that means this is not installed. Okay, this is not installed. This particular package is not installed, and this is what we have to then install it. Right? If it's not there, we have to install it. Now, whenever you need to install it, first my request is you first always go to this package here and just click on that package, and this in the search you can just type that plier. Whatever package is required, you can search over there. So if that package is there, and if it's coming over there, then what you can do, you can just click on that one checkbox and it will be loaded. Okay, that library will be loaded in program. But if it's not installed only, then that will not be loaded. I mean, that will not be shown over here. So there is no question of clicking on the checkbox, right? So whenever you need to have any library in your program and any package, then always first search in the packages. If in the packages it's there, you can just check on that one checkbox and that will be included in your program. But if you are not able to find in these packages, that means that particular package is not there only, so that we have to install. Now for most of you, this package is not there. What you can do, now we have to install it. So how to install any particular package? We have to execute this command, install. The two things will come, install.packages, and second one is installed.packages. So you select first one, install.packages. Install.packages. First one, install.packages. In that, you can mention the name of the package. So let's say I'm mentioning the name of the package as what? Plier. Okay. Which the package which you want to install it. You can mention that one, and you say the internet connection should be there, okay, and then it will start the updating that particular package. Just check it, all of you.
I got it downloaded actually.
Yeah, so it will download and finally it will install it. Mine is already there. So whichever package you want to install, right? For example, one more I'll show you. Let's say suppose I want to install one package that is Reshape 2. Few features are there in this one. Now, if you simply want to load it, it's a library and you want to load it reshape2. If you control enter, so for me it will be loaded because it's there already, but for you it may show you the error. Okay, for you it may show you the error. So if it's showing the error, that means we want to use the functionality of this particular package. It's showing the error, that means we have to install this particular package. So always go over here in the packages, first check it whether that is there. If it's there, you can check on that particular checkbox and that will be loaded. But if it's not there, then it will not be shown over here. So you will have to install it. What you can do, install dot packages. In that, you can write that reshape2, control enter. So if you click on this one, it will install. Mine is already there, right? So if you do this one, install dot packages, it requires only the internet connection and that will be installed. This single quote, if you are putting or double quotes, it will not going to make any difference. You can put double quotes also, you can put single quotes also. But in install dot packages, you need to put the single quote or double quote. Inside that, you have to write that package name. Okay, so what is the syntax? Install dot packages, inside double quote or single quote, you can write package name and that package will be installed. And then after that, once it's installed, after that you can say, sorry. After that, you can say what? Library, then again you can execute, or you can search over here that particular package and now it will be shown to you. And if it is shown to you, then you can just click on that checkbox and it will be loaded to your program. Or from this particular command also, you can just execute this particular command and that library will be loaded to your program. All of you could do this. This is very important. How to install the
Sir,
package.
how do I know that particular reshape library is being loaded?
So once you will execute this one, right, it will be loaded, right? For example, if you see, I just executed that one. It's giving me one warning. That's it. Otherwise, it's loaded. Okay.
But even if we add in the quadrant 4, we'll come to know, right? It's loaded over there. If you press update, it shows, right?
I mean, what on the packages? If you click,
correct.
Yeah. So once you once you will install it, then it will be visible over here.
Correct.
Okay? Once you search, then that will be visible. Then you can click on the checkbox. This will be loaded in your program.
The package has some additional modules that are required to do a certain function.
Yeah. For example, let's say suppose I want the tax calculation, right?
Okay.
Now, if I want to write the code from my side, I can write the code. But if already there, lots of things are written with the related to tax, right? If many things are there in one particular package, I just have to use that facility from that particular package. Okay. So if I know that all these facilities are provided in one package, I'll just go there and I'll just install that tax package. And then after that, I can use whatever functions are provided in that package for my calculation purposes, right?
Okay. Sir, another question extension to this is, suppose you create any kind of a package, so that also can be added into this?
Yes.
Okay.
But it's mostly maintained by the central. We can also create our own packages, but it's mostly maintained by the CRAN project. If we yesterday saw once we went for that R language, right? So that is the main community which will going to manage all those things. Every day you will see on that particular website, many packages keep on being added and deleted, right? So many packages keep on adding. Now, as a data scientist, if you know as much as package possible, and your work will become easier, right?
Okay.
Yeah.
Sir, my question again, you spoke of the income tax package calculation.
So, like that, there is no packages there. I just gave one example.
No, I am asking. So every year there are different calculation process. Right. So the package will be different for every year, you mean to say?
And no, see, so such kind of packages, if it will be implemented, then every time it requires to have the updation, right?
So version change also will be there.
Yes. So after the rule will change, then there will be updation in the versions. That's why not only about that one, even for example, suppose one package we have written now, and then some more features we have added, definitely we have to change the version, right? And that's why if you see over here, package reshape 2 was built under our version, it's showing for me, right? So like this, there were many packages were there for the old version of the R, which got deleted, and then they came out with the new version of the different packages, right? So that's the thing I was telling you, that every now and then a new packages are being added and deleted, right? So if you know the packages information, if you continuously visit, once you will be into this particular field, right, you will go to a different websites like community and on, where the central discussion is going on. You will come across different new packages and all. So automatically you will come to know.
Okay, thank you, sir.
Yeah.
Professor, I have one small thing. Like I tried to install this PL wire package, player package.
Okay.
And I type the command install package into bracket quote player.
Player, yeah.
Where I put. Now it is not. It is only showing tools for separating, applying, and combining data. I can click on that player PLYR.
So can you just put in the chat box what command you executed for installation?
I click the checkbox now. And now it appeared here now in the third quadrant. It has appeared to me.
No, but you are able to install it.
No, I clicked the checkbox.
Chat box, I can't see anything. I mean,
no, I'm not put it there. I'm just speaking to you now.
Okay.
Actually, I don't know how to share the screen to you.
No issue, no issue. The command which you executed, just copy that one and paste inside the chat box so that we can see is there any error or something.
No, it is showing now. Now it is showing on the third quadrant.
The package is showing you, right?
Yeah, and now I click the checkbox now.
So now that means that it got loaded to your program, yeah.
So now I can go for library and player. If I put that command, execute that, it will appear, that player will appear, right?
Yeah. So now I have not explained what functions are there inside that one and what we can do, use it, right? So I was just showing you that if any packages need to install, then what is the way to install it? That's it.
No, after after putting this like installing the package, now I'll go to library and I'll execute this player command. It should execute, right?
Yeah, that if you execute library inside that player, that means that library is included in your program. That's it. That is the meaning of that.
No, it is showing library player. In the fourth quadrant, it is showing library player. It is there. That's all. Earlier it showed error.
Yeah. Now it's not showing error, right? Now it's not showing error.
It is showing library player. It's there. It is showing in the fourth quadrant.
Okay. So your job is done. Now whatever functions are there inside that library, that we can use it.
Now how do I get to this library now?
So now see, now I have not shown you that what different functionality we want from that particular library and what we have to use. So the moment we will progress ahead, I'll be showing you the different packages which I'll be using and what are the contents of those packages and how we can use it, right now just learn that how we can install it. Okay,
fair enough. Thank you so much. I got it.
Okay. Yeah. So and anyway, suppose let's say you want to see, I mean, what different contents are available in that particular package. So you can always see the help, right? Help. You can always check the help of that one, and it will show you the different contents of the available in that particular package. Or on the Google also, you can just search like a Reshape 2 package in R, and then it will show you all the contents related to your Reshape 2. So you can just read it and for what purposes you can use it, right? So various things it will be able to show you. With the commands also it's possible. Let me try this one command. So for example, if I fire help in so with the help of help, you can just say package equal to, let's say, Reshape 2, right? Just give the name and enter it. So if you see here, package Reshape will appear and its information, I mean, how we can use it, what different things are available in that one, it will be able to show you, right? So you can just go in the different sections and you can read it. Similarly, if I fire help
ಎಕ್ಸಾಮ್ ಬರೆದ್ರೆ
package
ಲ್ಯಾಪ್ಟಾಪ್
flyer,
ನಿಮ್ ತಿಳಿಯಾಕತ್ತತೆ ಸುಮ್ಮನೆ
I just request please mute your mic so that we should not get any disturbance, all of you. So this is a plier, and in this, if you see, there are different functions available like apply a dply, then alply, arrange. So many things are there which we can use. You can go with different functions. You can read the description of that one. Okay, so with the help of this package equal to, and in the help, if you put, you can see the description of that one. Second thing is what, you can directly come over here and you can search in the help. Third option, you can directly search on the Google and it will give you the information, all the information which are available related to that particular package. Okay. So after this, let's say there is one history command. Yes, first let's fire history command. And let me put 5 over there. So if I execute history 5, so it will show me the contents of the history. So till now, whatever I have done, right, it will going to show the 5 things about this history. Now, right now, currently it's displaying a lot more than that 5, but it will show you the content of that particular history. It's not being restricted with this one. If I simply put history, it will show the entire content of that history. Okay, now what if I want to save this history? Till now, whatever we have done, I want to save the history. So there is, yeah, there is this function save history. And suppose I'm giving one file name h.txt, that means history.txt, and I want to save it. So I'll say save history h.txt. I'll execute this. So it will save the history, but where this will be saved? In your current working directory. So just check in your current working directory whether you got h.txt file or not. So it will be created. My current working directory is it's there. It's not displaying. Let me check again. Yeah, now I just refreshed it. Now it went over there. This h.txt file is created. So you can go to your folder directly and you can just check it. So this particular file is created. Now if I want to open it, so I just clicked on that one and that history file got opened. And if you see, a lot of things I've written from so many days, all the history is being recorded, and okay, it's there. Everything is saved in this particular file. Okay, entire history is saved. So with the help of save history, you can save the history. Now, suppose I want to clear, just wait. Suppose I want to clear this particular window, this terminal window. And what I can do for that one, I'll have to just press Control L. If you press Control L, this particular window will be cleared. Control L. Okay.
So my question is, in this, you created that file save history h.txt.
Yes.
So it will save the commands or that we have iterations that we have done till 2:17 p.m. So after that, it won't save.
Till what?
See, the time right now is 2 p.m. And 17 minutes. Right?
Yes, yes, yes. I mean, see, it's like suppose I've done some tasks, I have executed lots of command, and then after 1 hour, I'm saving the history. So it will going to save my history over there in that particular file.
Okay,
For example,
so it won't save real time.
no, 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 no.
No,
In the
every time
real time, in the real time, that history will be over here, right? But I want to save that history in some file, some
correct.
external file. It's there in the RStudio. It will be there in the history.
Correct,
okay?
correct. It's but if I want to store the entire day what commands I have fired out, so it will be only single file.
Yeah. Till at what time you will fire till there, whatever history is there, that will be saved. Okay.
Okay, so you mean to say if I fired at 217, so it will save till 217. If I fire at 317, will it save the entire day or that the gap of 1 hour only it will save?
No, entire full history it will save.
Full history. Okay.
Yes,
Thank
yes.
One more question. Instead
Yeah.
of labeling it h.txt, if I save it as h.r, so it will be same thing, right? I mean, if we save our code and saving history is one and
Yes,
same thing.
extension is up to you, right? If I don't put any extension also, then also it will be saved. The idea is it will write in that particular file in txt format. That's it. Okay, the characters will be written. Yeah. So we know that only the characters or the letters will be written. So it's better to save in the .txt file. It's easy for us to open it with the Notepad file, Notepad software. Okay. I was telling you that how you can clear this particular window by saying what? By just pressing Control L together, and you will be able to clear this one. Let me execute few more things. Let's say a equal to 10. Yeah, I want to see. Now these things are created. If I fire cat and quotes 014, okay, cat /014, and I'll enter. So this will also going to clear my screen. So it's like same pressing Control L. It's like same cat /014. Cat /014. So it will going to clear your this particular screen.
014 is a hard
What is
coded.
that 014?
It is a hard coded value for.
Yes. For the value for that particular command. Okay, Control.
Now, what is cat, sir? Cat?
Cat is used for displaying or concatenation purpose.
Okay.
Okay. So here we are just firing one code, and so that it can clear the screen. Otherwise, with the cat, we can display on the screen also. Okay. Similarly, suppose this environment window is there, and we know that we can suppose this A is created. This A is created, and we know that we can say RM and then A, and then it will going to remove this A from the environment window or from the history also. Now, suppose I want to clear everything, then I can write RM list equal to ls function. If I execute this one, RM list equal to ls function, then it will going to clear all the things which are there in the environment window. So if I execute this, it will clear. Environment is now empty. So it will going to clear the entire environment. RM list is equal to ls. Okay, so let me revise it entire thing, whatever I've taught in this particular session once again. So from the start, I told you that there are two commands which are very important. That is, one is the getWD and second is setWD. With the getWD, you can see in which current working directory you are working. I mean, it will going to show you the current working directory. Then with the help of setWD, you can set the current working directory. So it's always best to create one directory, and whatever contents you are doing, you can save in that particular directory folder. You can create any folder, and then you can just copy the path of that folder. You can just paste over here. In the double quotes, change the slash from this backslash to in the left direction to the right direction, and you execute it. It will be saved. Or the other option is you can go over here in this particular window, third window, and just click on 3 dots, select the folder which you want to set as the current working directory, and then after that click on this more and set as the working directory. Okay, then once this is done, then there is one command called as ls command, which will going to show you the contents which are present right in this particular ls object, environment objects. Similarly, there is a one more is there, that is a dir. I think I have not written that one, dir. So that dir shows the current contents of the current working directory, whatever folders and files are there in the current working directory, that can be shown by dir. Then there is a data command. Okay, data command. So if you just simply fire this data command, it will show you all the data sets which are inbuilt in your this RStudio, right? So all the inbuilt data set, it will going to list out over there. From that, if you want to select anything, if you want to view the content, you can always use view function. This v is capital for this particular view function, and just mention the name of the data set. You will be able to view the content of that particular data set. Okay. Now, let's say it might happen that a certain data set is not available for you, right? So in that case, you will have to download that particular data set, right? And then you can work around with that data set. From where you can get the data set. So there are lots of websites available from which you can find the data sets. So out of that, one very famous website is there, that is a Kaggle website, from which you can get the data. For example, let me show you. You can go over here. You can just type Kaggle, this Kaggle, enter. Okay. Kaggle. Now open it. So I think for you, it might be asking for registering and all. So I have already my account in this one. I have registered in this one. So it's showing me my login over there. And then if you log in with your Gmail account, or if you register it, right, you can register with your Gmail account. Then from here, lot of options are there. You can search any particular asset. So if you click on this Kaggle, here you can see there is a data sets available. If I click on this one, so it will show us the various options for the data sets available, like which are the trending data sets also. For example, if you see, it's showing 2021 Tokyo Olympic complete data sets. It's 92 MB, such a big data set is already available over there. Then global adherence to religion, Kaggle user ranking data set, latest COVID-19 India state-wise data, that is also available. Okay, stock exchange data, many recently viewed data sets. So it's showing for me which data set I have recently used, like Toyota Corolla, which I've used, then students' performance in exams, loan default prediction, which I've used. So like this, it's showing me recently viewed data set. You can go to any particular data. For example, if I go on this one, if I'm clicking on this one, so there is one option, download. I can click on this one and I can download this particular data set. It's available in Toyota Corolla.csv format, that is comma separated value format. It's available. It's also showing me the details of this particular data set, like what different columns are available in this data set, like price is there, age is there, kilometer is there, fuel type is there, horsepower is there, right? So all this, the information of this particular data set, different columns of this data set, and few snippets is also shown of that particular data set. So from here you can just download, and then you can take that Excel file and you can just open it. If the data set is proper, everything is nice, then you can work around with that particular data set. Otherwise, some adjustment is needed, like pre-processing is required. Then you can pre-process that entire data set. You can make it clean and usable for your particular project, and then you can go ahead with that particular data set, right? If not at all, you are getting your data set anywhere, right? Then you will have to create your own data set, and then you will have to use in your project.
So what is the size of data that can be done in R?
So I mean, it's not as limited to the data set, right? You can have as big as possible.
Okay, it's more than Excel or less than Excel?
Yes. Excel is nothing like it. This 59 KB or even 1 GB, 2 GB data is nothing. It will be able to load it. Okay.
Okay, it will be able to load. So,
Yeah.
does the Python and Tableau and R they have differentiating in this size of data?
Yes, some different some ranges are there. Like it will be little bit slow or little bit faster, right? That thing will be there, but you can work around with this one. There is no issue. But
Okay,
just
but these all are
remember, see,
CSV
even
files.
yes. Just remember this. For example, even this 59 KB, this is also huge data. If you just open this particular file, I think there will be 9,000, 10,000 records will be there in this particular data set. Okay, rows will be there. Yeah. So this is also the enough data which you can use for the training purpose. Okay, where we can divide 80 and 20%
Correct.
range. Yeah.
So these are CSV files. So we can these are comma separate values. So you
Yes,
can
yes.
take the data from the Excel file also and pull it up in R.
We can open this. Yes. From different sources we can take, and that I'll be showing you. I'll be
Okay,
showing you
okay,
how to get the
okay,
data from different sources and how to view, how to process it. Okay, I'll be
okay.
showing
Thank
you.
you, sir. Yeah.
Yeah.
Going back a little bit, Professor,
Yeah.
this directory command,
Yes.
can you just refresh that, please?
Dir command. Okay, so this is dir command, right? So if you
Yeah.
fire this particular dir command, it will show you the contents which are there in your current working directory. So for example, here it's showing me dir command. Once I fire h.txt and one is a new text document.txt. Only these two files are there in my current folder and showing me the content of that particular folder. So whichever is current working directory, it will show you what are the contents available in that current working directory.
Now, then again, I had to go back to the fourth quadrant and then click on checkbox.
Here, this one.
No. See, now how to get into that? What is there in the directory? How do I get that? Now it is showing
By
in the fourth quadrant also. It's showing in the third quadrant, fourth quadrant.
yes. No. By this command, it will not show you in the fourth quadrant. I have went over there, right?
No, in third command, it's showing h.txt, right?
Yeah,
In the
with this
third command,
dir, it's showing me h.txt and these two files.
no, I'm just coming back to third quadrant.
Yes,
It is
third
showing
quadrant.
h.txt with the box behind that.
Yeah, this one. Okay.
Now, what do I do with this?
Don't do anything. That file is there. If you want to do it, for example, if you want to rename it or something, if you want to do, then you can do it. Otherwise, we don't have to do anything for this particular file, right? If you want to
Now,
read it,
what is there in that file? How do I see that?
you can just click on this one.
Okay, click on that, right? But
Yeah.
it's not showing no anywhere.
If it's not showing, you can directly go to that folder or you can open it by double clicking it. Sometimes it may not show you even after clicking on that one. So in that case, what you can do, you can just go in that particular practice folder, and if you want to see the content, you can just double click. What we have saved the history only in that particular file. Okay, so you can see the content like this. Clear?
Oh, clear. Now, just
Yeah.
coming back to this one, just only one final clarification. Now,
Yes.
what is showing in the fourth quadrant h.txt?
Hmm.
So it is only saying that file is there. That's all it. What is the meaning of this display here?
Meaning of this display means what? It's for example, just see this particular part where I am right now. I am in the practice folder, right?
Okay.
So if the practice folder is open there definitely it will show the content of that particular folder over here, right?
Understand.
For example, if I click on this desktop, so I can see the content of that particular folder over here. So on my desktop, all
Okay.
these things are there. Clear?
Desktop had to click. Yeah,
Yeah.
understood.
Okay.
Now this was not clear. Last thing is in the fourth quadrant.
Mm-hmm.
That h dot text is shown into the two noted brackets, two double commas. It is showing h dot text.
Okay. Yeah.
What it is only saying that this text is available. That's all, is it? This file is
No,
available.
that file is available. Yeah, it's showing me us that file is there in that particular folder. See,
Because I'm not able to understand the functionality of the fourth quadrant. What is the meaning? Fourth quadrant. What does it indicate, and how to, take the meaning out of this?
So in the fourth quadrant, there are lots of things available. Like if you click on these files, so this particular tab will show you the files and folder available in that particular directory. Okay.
Okay. Okay.
If you click on this plot, so whenever you will plot anything, this will appear, and the plot in the plot section you can see the plotting of all whatever you have plotted. You will be able to see in the plot section. Okay. Then in the packages, for example, I told you that before installing any packages, you can always search whether that package is available or not. In the package section, you can click and you can search that particular package. It will appear. If it's not there, then you will have to install it. And from here also, we can load that package in our program. So that will appear inside this package tab. Then in the help tab, you can see the various helps are available. You can also, if you want any particular help, you can always search that that thing in this search box, and that help will appear. And this viewer, this we're not going to use most of the time. So once this will come, I will explain you. But mostly we use these files, plot, packages, and help. That's it. Okay. This one is like if you want to, yes, zoom it and all, then we will require.
Where is zoom? Zoom is where? This one is it?
No, if you plot it, right? If you plot it, right? So in the this one zoom is there, right? This you can zoom it.
Understood.
Yeah. So yeah. Okay. So this will zoom it, and if you want to save also this particular, yesterday I explained, if you want to save it, there is an option like if you go to this plot, there is a save image, save as image is there, save as PDF is there, right? So if you want this for presentation purpose or to show to anybody, right, you can just click on that one and it will tell you to various format where you want to save it. Like image formats are there. So different image format, you can select any particular image format. You will be able to save in image format. Similarly, if you want to save in a PDF, to save as PDF is there, and save as PDF, you can set the sizes and all depending on your pages, like A4 page or which page is there. And dimensions are also mentioned in the inches, that also you can vary. Here orientation, portrait, and landscape is there, so that also you can do. And then you can save this particular image in the PDF format, so that is available. Okay,
thank you so much. Up to here it's very clear. Only last thing, see this fourth quadrant or display quadrant.
If you're saying this particular this quadrant, right?
Now, see, I'm not from the program background. Now,
Yes.
What is the purpose of this particular quadrant? How to make use of this quadrant? What does it indicate?
This one, right?
Yeah, fourth quadrant. Yes.
Yes. So here we can write the command. Let's say, let me show you. For example, I'm executing one command, controller. So it has cleared my this console screen. And see, whatever we are executing over here, that output we can see here only, right? So this is a console where we can see the output. We can also execute the command on the one line command here also. For example, I can say like A equal to 10. So that is executed. Then I am saying A. So that value is being displayed. If I say B is equal to 5, right? If I want to say A plus B, okay. So from here also we can execute the command. Yeah.
Understood. Got it. But last thing I want to know, what is the difference between executing command from the first quadrant and the fourth quadrant? Which
Okay, there is a difference here. One command we can execute, but here we can execute all the set of commands together. We can write the program, big program, and that entire script we can execute. Okay. So
this one is like a scratch pad. Our last one is like a scratch pad.
no, it's like your prompt. For example, see, if your CMD prompt for the Windows you might have seen. So it's like a command prompt.
Okay,
this command prompt. Okay. Yeah. See, here also we can fire like dir command. If I fire, it will show me the contents of my particular folder, of this particular C folder. Right. So in this OmPrakash directory, whatever contents are there, it will going to show me. Right. So like this, there are various functions are there. If I fire cd ... I came out from that particular folder. If I want to go to OmPrakash folder, I'm saying cd. Okay, so I'm going in that particular folder. So these are the commands. In the similar way, whatever we have covered in this particular session, these are the utility commands. Okay, for this RStudio.
Thank you. Got it.
Yeah. Okay, then now it's a time to take break, and then we will meet by 3:30.
Yeah, I have two questions.
Yes.
How this RStudio handles the databases. So suppose I'm working on very huge data. Okay. So will it completely
Yes.
load into RAM or how it is, or it will only